Hello, everybody. You are now listening to the Overflow Podcast with Jae and Joaquin. That's right. You are now listening to the Overflow Podcast with Jae and Joaquin. I am Joaquin.
And this is Jay. It was like the only thing that I could come up with.
We were just talking about your dad. You could have used your dad's accent. But you went with that one.
You know what hit me? All right, so every morning to motivate Bean so he can be fast, I always tell him, hey, I need Speedy Gonzalez this morning and not Slowpoke Rodriguez. Are you Slowpoke Rodriguez? He's like, no, I'm Speedy Gonzalez. And he runs.
He runs all over the place.
And he runs to get ready in the morning. And I don't know why, but when I thought, like when I was trying to come up with something to say,
You thought Slowpoke Rodriguez.
I thought Speedy Gonzalez.
Well, you thought Speedy, but you spoke Slowpoke because remember he goes, I might be slow,
I might be slow,
but I have a gun. Oh man!
So what's up, man?
That
this
is
Jay and Joaquin.
This is Joaquin and Jay. This is episode whatever of the Overflow Podcast. We are here.
It's funny, right? Because I've seen other podcasts and whatever, and they always do like episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't do that. Like this is season 4. That's it. This is a new episode of season 4.
Are we in season 4?
Season 4, my brother.
We're about to be season 5 then, aren't we?
Yes, son.
January will be
season 5.
Our 5th year anniversary.
Yo.
So is that like that's wood? That diamond? What's the 5th year anniversary stone? Opals? I don't know. So I'm gonna get you a wooden cross.
Put it through my heart.
Put it through your heart. As I sing, shot through the heart, and you're to blame.
Nobody knows what you're singing.
Some people do. But anywho, what up, Jay?
What up,
What's
dope?
up, man? What you been up to? This last couple of days, this last week or so? You got some stuff coming up? You been doing anything fun?
I'm not fun. I'm too old for fun.
It's not true. You choose to be too old for fun, Jay.
I don't choose to be too old.
You chose. You chose to live your life as a 45-year-old man. You know, you can change that.
And be a 46-year-old man?
Nah, man, you could be like, yo, I'm a 30-year-old man.
Dude, I'm 46, son.
I know, just drop down. Drop down, give
me 20.
Drop down 16 years, man.
Yo.
Do a reset.
Word. I'm going to do that. Starting tomorrow.
Tomorrow, but I mean, people can.
I'm gonna do that.
And man, people can change all kinds of stuff nowadays.
Yo, you want to laugh? You want to laugh at something?
I always want to laugh at something.
Want to laugh at something?
Especially when it's at other people.
Yo, so
at other people's expense.
So yesterday,
Don't be mean.
I go to my mom's house. Right. And I sit there with her. It's been a while since I just sat and just hung out with her.
Right.
So I sit there with her, and we're talking about a little bit of everything, right? She's super happy for you with your new significant other, right? Because she didn't much like your
the last significant other,
the last one, right? Thought you were really dumbing yourself down.
And that's easy to do, right? I'm not that smart to begin with,
right? So and then she starts saying, "Hey, what's going on with like the people you grew up with, like people in your age group, and even like some of the guys like younger than you?" And I'm like,
"Can you be a little more specific?"
Right? Like that's real vague, Mom. What you talking about? Say, look at this picture. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. Look at that guy. And I'm like, what happened? It's like, these are people you grew up with. They're your age or they're younger. Look at your cousin. He's 5 years younger than you. What's going on? It's like, what are you talking about? Why are they all bald or gray? They all bald or have all these grays or look beat up. And I'm like,
because they're like, old.
Because we're old. So yeah. No. Don't put yourself in that category, all right? Because you're the same age, but they look like they're beat up. Like they lost all their hair, and they have all this gray beard. And
I'm feeling attacked right now. I'm feeling attacked right now, Jay.
We ain't grow up together. Say, look at this guy. Remember? He always thought he was a papi chulo. Look at him. Now he's a papi nada.
Yo.
Now he's just a papa.
That's a papa. Yo. Why mom's gotta be so savage?
Yo. I don't know, but I love it that when I get like that, she says I get it from my father.
So who did she get it from?
It's like I'm like,
So you got it from Papi too.
I think you need to stop blaming dad and start recognizing that it's you, bro.
It's like you got it from Papi too. I believe it's called osmosis.
It's just I was just like,
you got it for osmosis.
I was like,
it's like dropping science up in here.
I'm like, mommy, like leave them alone.
I can't leave them alone. You can like they're hearing her and they're like they're back home crying. You know, hermana Milka, ya. ¿Por qué la hermana está hablando de nosotros así? She's so mean.
That's why you gotta sound like that though.
Because that's what they sound like in my head. Because I don't know them.
You don't know them,
so.
But it's true. They sound like that.
But
yeah. So that was the bulk of my conversation.
Yo, I know this isn't on the list.
¿Qué fue?
But
¿Qué tú tienes?
Was it December 8th? December 8th, bruh.
What?
Crisis starts. They dropped that teaser today.
Oh, word.
All right. So guys, we're gonna nerd out for just like a half a second here because they dropped the teaser for for Crisis on Infinite Earths.
That teaser.
Earths.
Oh.
For Crisis on Infinite Earths. Not Earths.
Teaser sucked.
It sucked because it was 15 seconds.
Because it was so short.
Yo, did you saw Kingdom Come? Superman? What?
Yeah, I had to go back and like pause it. And be like,
yo, that was dope.
Yo, that looks so dope.
Yo, that looks so dope.
Yes, son. Yeah. Yes, son.
So excited.
Yo, Kingdom Come Superman, Batwoman, who has nothing to do with the original Crisis, but it still looked dope to see her.
Yep.
Supergirl, who's going to die. Whoops.
Is she going to die? Maybe not.
What? Spoiler. No. She dies in the comics.
She dies in the comics.
But
you know what I saw today? Did you ever see the clip with Kevin Conroy where Barry's like, I need your help? No. And you hear, I'm gonna find it later and show you, but it's like Barry's like, I need your help, and you hear what do you need? And then you hear it in the Batman voice from like the animated series Batman voice.
No,
like,
I didn't. I never.
I'm gonna show it to you, man. It's like,
you have to send it to me.
It's like, what do you need? And then they pan over and it's him and he's like in a chair. He's like leaning. Now, I don't know if it's real or not. It looked real to me, but
it's like Batman Beyond Batman.
Well, it was just an older Batman, so it didn't really.
No, you said he was in a chair, so that's
like he was like he was just sitting,
visual.
like he was sitting down,
okay.
Like he's like, what do you need? But it was the voice, right? And I was just like, oh.
Nah, you have to send that to me. I don't.
I'll do that.
Doesn't sound familiar.
I'll send it to you. But so right off the jump, we do want to. So we got a bunch of exciting stuff, popping off. Like in the next several months, really, right? Because I mean,
yeah, we're ready.
Wow, we're like
the second week of November.
We're in the second week. No, second week.
No, second.
Third week. Third we'd be eating turkey. I'd be working and then going and eating turkey.
Yeah, you be eating turkey.
Yo, and mom's stuffing that turkey with mofongo again this year.
So am I.
Boom. Biter, mofongo biter. I told mom, you need to find like a keto mofongo version. a keto mofongo version. There isn't one.
You can't because the main ingredient.
Yeah, is the plátano.
Is the plátano.
Well, pretty much the only ingredient. Right? I mean, you just gotta sprinkle a little bit of this.
I'm gonna make
a little dash of that.
I'm gonna make mine with some bacon grease.
But I did send mom,
and then some real chicharrón.
But I did send mom a recipe for a keto New York style cheesecake.
Yo, I saw that recipe, but I also saw, if you want, I could send it to mom.
Yes. Because I ain't cooking.
No, it's a keto pumpkin pie.
Yeah.
And a keto pumpkin cheesecake.
Ooh, Yeah, do that. Send it to me, and I'll send it to the girls.
Yeah. Or I could just send it to the girls.
You should send it to everybody. Just send it to everybody.
Send it to everyone.
Everybody. Yeah, I'll send it to Jenny. So Mia was apparently Mia, who's my girlfriend's daughter, was looking for.
Yo, I don't think I've ever heard you say my girlfriend before.
No, I haven't. Mm-mm. Oh man, we got to delete that out. No, we can't be having people think stuff. No, so we went out to eat Saturday and
think stuff like what? Like is your girlfriend Canadian?
It's good. If she was Canadian, she would not be my girlfriend. Oh, Canada.
All right, let me explain that because she might not know what that means.
Right, so explain that.
Like the reference. The reference, this is for Jenny. And I guess anybody else who doesn't know what I'm talking about. Like the whole reference is when nerds have fake girlfriends. Like, oh no, I have a girlfriend. She's real. She just lives in Canada. Right?
Yep. And it's also a reference to the fact that I beef with certain countries.
Yeah, and
Canada's one.
Number one on that list is
Canada,
El Salvador, and then
Canada, and Argentina.
And Argentina, that's right, Argentina.
I'm beefing with those countries. So, Jenny, you break my heart. I'm gonna be beefing with Peru. I'm just gonna let you know. I don't care if Pikachu was born there. That's what you call a callback. No, man, it was funny.
Yo, all I want to know is when Jenny's gonna be, coming over with that lomo saltado.
She says she doesn't cook. So, I don't know. You might be waiting for it.
She doesn't cook?
That's what she says. That's what she says. I think she's saying that so she don't got cooked for me.
She doesn't cook?
So I'm going to get a text tomorrow. Why did you say I don't cook?
She's Latina and she doesn't cook? Wait, she's Latina, non-Americanized, and she doesn't cook?
That's what she says.
In a world where a non-Americanized Latina,
there are unicorns everywhere. They just anyway. The point is that we went out. So Saturday went out to eat at Golden Corral.
Did we just throw her off our groove?
I think throw who off? Throw Jenny off her groove. Yeah, I'm paying for that.
Like Cusco.
Oh my goodness. Okay, you know what? I'm done. I'm done with the story. I can't even go on with it. Oh my goodness. So, if
somebody give me some water.
So if you enjoy this content, if you're enjoying this content, boy, do I have news for you.
We have news for you.
Yo. Anyway, I was gonna give Mia a shout out because I mentioned.
Oh my God, I'm crying.
I mentioned that I like carrot cake, and Mia didn't go to school today because she had pink eye.
Aw.
And so she was all day. She was looking at recipes. She was trying to find a carrot cake recipe so she could make me a cake.
Aw.
I said it needs to be keto because if not, I can't eat it. Keto carrot cake though, yeah, pretty good.
I mean, it's from Zamboanga.
So Zamboanga, yo, they had this treat. That thing they only do on Fridays. They had chocolate and like peanut butter. It was like it was like the guy called it their Twix.
Okay, talking about keto, I did like the dumb keto joke yesterday at home. I went to Publix to buy.
Better be a good one. Like
no, it was dumb. It was dumb.
Oh,
it was dumb. Like yours.
Super
so it was. So I went to
brilliant.
Publix yesterday to get some stuff that Magda, like get some eggs and whatever. And I had a moment of weakness and I bought some eclairs. Right, so
I feel you.
I bring him home, and I'm like, look, baby, look what I got. So after we put the kids to sleep, we can
share an eclair,
have an eclair while we're watching Jack Ryan. And she looked at me, she said, "Aren't you on keto?" Right, and I say, "Yes." So I'm gonna eat a poquito of this eclair, and if you don't like it, I'll eat a poquito of yours.
That's a great joke. great one.
So yeah,
That's a great one.
yeah.
So anywho, anyway, that was the story I was trying to tell.
Shout out Mia.
Shout out to Mia and Jenny, our newest number one fan. Even though she's biased, but that's okay. We'll take it.
Yeah, it's okay to be.
It's okay to be biased.
To be biased.
We'll take it.
Because Magda's not biased. Magda's like, yeah, you suck. You can't be saying those jokes on your show.
True. Maya's our Magda's our number 2 fan because she's mean to us. Anyway, so no Legacy Nights this month. We're gonna kind of go and jump into.
I'm gonna keep reiterating that no Legacy Nights this month.
No Legacy Nights this
So
month.
if you show up the last Monday of this month to the Ice Kitchen,
it'll be closed.
It'll be closed.
No free coffee for you.
No, nothing for you.
You can press your face against the glass, I guess, and hum a Jesus tune.
Just make sure it's not Hillsong.
Or it can be. You know what? Sing whatever you want. Whatever God places in your heart.
But make sure you sing of his love forever.
Forever.
Forever, ever?
Forever, ever.
All right. And the next thing that we're going to talk
sing
about
of your
is
love
that
forever. The second thing is
we are splitting up.
We're splitting up. So we just celebrated. We're about to celebrate 5 years, and then we're getting divorced.
And then we're splitting up. Well, we're not married, so.
Well, I mean, we're like common law. Isn't common law like 3 years?
I think so, right? Years? Yeah, I think so.
We're common law.
No, I think no. I think I was. Okay. I think I was wrong. I think. No, I think in January it will be 4 years.
It'll be 4 years in January. We've been doing this.
Not 5, yeah.
It is a miracle in and of itself. Who says God does not perform miracles?
Right.
Today.
The thing is that people just want to see like
limbs be healed,
demons being exorcised. Don't you know how comfortable you people are with your demons? Don't lie.
How about consistency? That's a miracle in and of itself. Consistency. But no, so we are all right. So we've got.
But let's explain that. Yeah, let's explain that.
So we've got a couple of projects that are going to be launching. We tried to launch. We're going to launch them earlier, but we ended up not being able to. So we're looking at launching several things kind of coming up in January. So we're going to start with.
Yeah, the thing, it's not so much that we couldn't, is that since we thought that our anniversary was September, and then when we scrolled through the history of podcasts, our very first podcast was in January.
It was in January.
So we decided to launch all these other properties
in January.
Kind
of just as a part of like a month-long celebration. So we have a couple of things, right? So we got my podcast that'll be coming out in January. And with that being said, which is basically me just talking about me stuff.
It's basically a podcast of Joaquin on his soapbox.
On my soapbox.
And a few interviews and stuff.
Thoughts. But ultimately, I was sharing with somebody about this. Ultimately, I want it to be about, people's stories. I want us to. Like I've said this 1,000 times, and I'll keep saying it 1,000 times. We get so for those of us like me and Jay, and especially that grew up in church, and then like me and Jay who have very kind of different testimonies,
right, and different upbringings. We tend to. It's funny because in church we tend to glamorize the hard scrabble, right? The knock hard life testimonies. Right, the ones where people were like, "Oh yeah, I was shooting heroin through my eyeballs, and then the Lord rescued me." Talk about, do you see what I see?
Right,
and the Lord rescued me. I ain't got a horror story,
but there's also the testimonies of those like me who grew up in church and have stayed in church, and I can't say I never did these things, right? I never shot up heroin through my eyeballs, I didn't smoke weed, I didn't, get blackout drunk on, Friday nights or whatever. I lived a very boring life. No, the point is that, our stories are our stories. And for those of us that are believers, right, our stories all lead to God.
That's right.
But we tend to, the church, we tend to kind of glamorize, the horror stories, right? Or I was born with no limbs, and then, they prayed for me and all my limbs grew. And it's like, whoa, that's crazy. But there's a lot of other stories, and so that's part of my vision. I want to hear people's stories. I like hearing people's stories.
Yeah, you do.
So that's part of it, and part of it too is just anything weird that I find that might just set me off because stuff just sets me off. So I just have an outlet. So you don't even have to listen. It's just cathartic for me, really. It's all about
therapy.
It's all about my therapy. And then with that, we also have Ayo
Jae,
which
is my new solo show, which will be both. And ours, both of these shows that we're announcing right now, as far as, and with that being said, and AOJ will be both audio podcasts and then video as well on YouTube.
Right. Jay's will be more video at the beginning, video and audio than mine will.
Because
I'm going to be in a basement somewhere.
Yeah, and what I'll be doing is I'm just doing what I do, walk and talk. So anytime I do like one-on-one ministry.
But he doesn't chew gum because then he falls.
I fall backwards. I do walk and talks. Like I just walk with people and we talk ministry, we talk life, little counseling, a little Bible, whatever. So I'm turning that into a show because for whatever reason, in this season, this past year, I've been getting hit up by a lot of different people being asked questions about certain things that it's going on, either in general, like kingdom stuff, or like to help with their life, right? Like to speak into their life or pray for them, right? So I'm old, right?
Yes.
I'm old. So I'm from a time where we used the term or the word "ayo" a lot. I mean, I still use it,
right?
Like even when I call the kids, I'm like, "Ayo, come here."
Yeah.
Right. So I still use it.
I like to use. Oh yeah.
Right. It's another one. Right. It's just basically "ayo," but in Espanol.
Ayo, but it's in Espanol.
Right?
Yeah.
So
I'm just repeating what he says.
Turning that into a show but it's going to be a little different. So it's going to be a little walk and talk with just other believers in different walks of industry, different walks of life, right?
Word.
And we're going to be doing sit downs, talking about what they're doing, where they are, talking about how God is moving and what they're doing, whether it be in a restaurant, in a store, right?
Right.
Like just like things like that. So it's going to be a little bit of
a little bit of everything. It'll be more of a sit and talk because Jay will get tired and be like, "Oh,
yeah, I'm old." Like I just said, I was old.
He's old.
Right. So actually, I'm gonna shoot the pilot this week.
Sweet.
Shooting the pilot this week. So I gotta tell you, I was thinking about it.
It'll be nice if that could almost just be your home base.
That would be nice.
And then we just see you get bigger and bigger. I thought you were doing keto. I'm eating
a poquito of pizza.
A poquito of pizza.
No, but
what's a poquito? 5 slices.
But I was thinking about it yesterday.
Right.
Right about the pilot and finally this idea that I've been actually at first running away from.
Right.
And now completely embracing and going headstrong with it. And like I'm like really excited.
You excited? Yeah,
I was super excited.
I was thinking when we talked the other day and this last couple of days, all I've been thinking about is how am I going to rearrange my day? How am I going to rearrange myself so that I will, because I have to carve out that time. We all do.
Right. Yeah.
And it's about priorities and it's about figuring out like, all right, so I'm gonna have to do this little less of this to add to this to do this,
right.
But I still need, I'm still on my weight loss journey, so I still need to go to the gym and I still need to do all these things. So, but the idea of just me, just kind of blurting out just kind of the things that I think about and how just everyday life kind of stuff. So we'll see how quickly I get canceled.
The power's right here.
I cancel myself. I'm like, Joaquin, yes, Joaquin. Yeah, the numbers aren't looking good. I'm gonna cancel you.
The ratings just aren't there.
Yeah, I'll be like, Jay, what? Yeah, I canceled myself. What happened? Talk about cancel culture.
Are we gonna tell them about the other one?
Now the other one, yes. So then I was leading right into that. So
let's get into it. Let's do it.
So the third thing that we're gonna be doing,
The other split
is we are splitting the Overflow podcast. The Overflow podcast will cease to exist in its format and will continue to exist in its format.
Yeah.
Right? It's like a Crisis on Infinite Earths. And it's just kind of splitting.
Except that in the Crisis, universes were coming together, and in this one, they are breaking apart. So we're gonna split up the two halves of the Overflow podcast,
correct,
and make them their own,
almost like their own show.
Entity, their own show.
Yeah. So right, go ahead.
Right. So the thing with the Overflow podcast, when we started it, we wanted it to reflect how Joaquin and I are when we get together.
Correct.
And we just
talk about everything.
We talk about everything. We joke on
we're
people.
Not chismosos.
We joke on each other. And then like there are times that we get into like Bible questions and theological like conversations, and then we argue, and then we come back to the jokes. Like it's a real weird thing where people who are familiar with us, when they listen to the podcast, right, it's very familiar to them. Like they love it because of the familiarity, because they know us.
Right.
And like everything, things grow, things evolve,
things change,
and
we get yelled at, causes us to rethink some things.
And then, and so I think, between he and I having conversations, but then también other people that listen to the podcast and give us input or give us
whether we ask for it or not, and we never asked for it,
right? Have said one or the other. But I think the catalyst was the new fan, right? The new fan, her being completely new, not knowing who we are, also resonated, right? When on Facebook.
Correct.
Right? Also resonated with what everyone that is close to us has been saying.
Right.
So we're going to split up the podcast.
Yeah. So what's her name? Fawn?
Nicole?
Dawn? Nicole?
Fawn? Yeah.
Nicole Fawn?
Yeah, her.
You know who you is. Yeah, we're giving, listen, it's your fault we're splitting up.
Right. We're giving you props.
We're giving you the credit.
Right. So the deal is we're going to keep the Overflow podcast, but it's going to be focused on the study conversation, the Bible conversation.
The Bible conversation. So any guests that we have,
it won't be interview as much as it'll be them joining the teaching or the conversation that we have.
So if we do have an interview, like an interview, then it would be on the other show, which we'll tell you the name in a second. But for now, the way it's going to work is the Overflow podcast will be, in essence, the second half of what we've been doing, but it'll just be a little longer. Right. So it'll give us some room
to really unpack,
to kind of breathe some meat, and unpack, into the meat and to really argue and whatnot. Because, like Jay said, we've had people say, "Oh, I really like the second half, and I listened to the first half so that I can get to the second half," or, "Oh, we really like the whole thing," or we just or some people.
We've even told people, "You don't like this part, yo."
Yeah, fast forward,
scroll over to 30 minutes.
But then we've had people that like the first half but aren't really all that into the second half.
Right.
So
those are the heathens that we relate with.
The heathens that are related to Jay. So
I'm not saying no.
Jay didn't deny it. So it must be true. So right. So through the conversation with the new fan who kind of inflated our egos a little bit because she called us the Christian Stretch and Babito. So we talked about it. We thought, why not split it? That way we can have a little more time to talk about the things that we like to talk about. So the Overflow podcast will be Bible. We'll be talking to people and how Scripture fits into their lives.
Into lives, yeah.
In what they're doing. So
the Overflow podcast is still going to be everything filtered through Scripture.
Through Scripture, yeah. So it's funny because there'll be a lot of cross-pollination amongst the podcasts because we love talking to people.
Yeah.
The second podcast
will be based on those first 30 minutes.
Those first 30 minutes where we talk about pop culture, we talk about news, we talk
do
the
jokes.
We talk about the comic books, we talk about all this stuff. Honestly, this might even actually free us up to really kind of break things down sometimes that we kind of hold back because we,
or just really go off.
Sometimes we do hold back on certain things because
Yes.
because we've got two competing things going on in one podcast.
Right.
So
and
now,
then this one we can also have guests come in, but guests that are a part of the culture, that are doing things as far as the kingdom, and also like fans of like
of pop culture and
things like that.
and that silly stuff.
You see, like we can have like a DJ Michael,
Right.
who also collects the Funkos and
is a nerd
and
yeah.
Is a bit of a nerd on that side, right? Sorry.
So,
And that one will be called
the first 30-ish.
right.
30-ish because I'll explain. We were talking about it. Originally, it was the first 30. So Jay's like, "Yeah, we're gonna take the first 30. We're gonna let's go ahead and break it into this." And we talked about it. I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "You know what though? Me and you don't know what 30 minutes is.
No.
We're either late 30 minutes, we're too early 30 minutes, or we blow past 30 minutes.
It's never shorter than 30 minutes.
So I was like, we should just call it. We should just add ISH-ish.
The first 30-ish.
The first 30-ish, which really means Boricua time means 45 to 60 minutes. 45 to 60 minutes.
So we're gonna shoot for 30, but not really.
So we're gonna shoot for 30 and it'll be an hour because that's how we roll. Remember?
Right.
Because you tell the Boricua it's at 7, they show up at 7:30.
The 30-minute line will be there, but the shot put is gonna be way past it.
So it'll be the first
30-ish.
30-ish. And so that one will be us kind of talking about culture, talking about all kinds of stuff.
Making fun of you.
Making fun of you, making fun of us.
Making fun of each other.
Talking.
Making fun of the church.
Talking movies.
Making fun of the believers.
All kinds of stuff.
Making fun of the non-believers. I'm just stuck on the making fun.
Yeah, but that's not going to be everything because we're not that funny. But we're going to talk about all kinds of stuff. So starting starting in January, there'll be 2 uploads a week. So you'll have, but let's say, just to kind of keep you an idea, we'll say we'll have an hour of the first 30-ish, where it'll just be us doing that, and an hour of the Overflow podcast, which will be more Bible. So you can choose. You can say, "Hey, I want to listen to Bible stuff," or you can say, "I want to listen to."
I suggest you listen to both,
or you can, if you like both things, then you listen to both things.
That's the selection that I want you to make.
That's what Jay wants.
That's the choice I want you to make.
I just want you to listen. Pick one.
Word. And then Joaquin will have his own.
Then I'll have my own.
Right? And with that being said, which right now you can go to andwiththatbeingsaid.com.
Yes.
And you could sign up to get the email notification of exactly when. And as a matter of fact, you sign up, we'll give you the preview before we drop it in January.
Yes.
Boom. Promise.
So how about that?
Right there. Not only that, you sign up to and with that being said, you get a preview of that show, and we'll send you the pilot of AOJ that we'll be recording this week.
Yeah, so not a bad, and it's free. I mean, it's not a bad deal. So.
Yeah, we don't want you to sign up for anything.
Yeah,
we don't want you to help with the GoFundMe, none of that.
No. So if it sucks,
this is just because
you can't be mad because it was free.
And if it sucks, keep it to yourself.
Keep your opinions to yourself. ain't nobody need that noise. Listen, we got people in our lives that already tell us we suck. So I don't know what I'm that.
Yes.
People
that tell us we suck, but they love us anyway.
They love us anyway. So we're really excited about that. So hopefully, be on the lookout for that, and we'll see. We'll see which one people really like.
We'll see which one gets the more listens.
All right. So let's go ahead. I'm gonna go ahead and talk about trailer and song of the week.
Let's skip the things for next week.
The 2 things.
Yeah.
Right.
Because we're running out of time.
Hey, we hit. No, okay. All right. So these 2 things are out of pocket, right? As far as I'm concerned. Well, the one is out of pocket. So.
Because I know you're gonna clown me on this one.
So I'll let Jay tell us about the song of the week. Which is the song of the week?
So the song of the week is
you're attached to them.
Right. The song of the week is from a band that I manage called NONAH. Right. NONAH. You can go to NONAH Music so you can hear the story of the name. At first, when they told me the name of their band, I did the incredulous one eyebrow, like The Rock, whatever. But then it's an amazing story. So NONAH, the song is called Assurance. It's like a pop worship vibey type
Yeah, it's got
thing.
that pop worship
right?
vibe
So
to
it's
Very dope.
really dope, right? And then the trailer of the week.
Trailer of the week. All right, so the trailer of the week, I got a notification that the trailer was that the trailer would get dropped, and I looked at it and I went, I'm not really gonna look at this. So when Jay and I were talking earlier this week, kind of going back and forth, Jay was like, "Hey man," or today he was like, "Hey man, look at the outline for today." Blah 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 blah. And that was the trailer.
Right, because this sounds random, but we do create an outline every week.
And then we don't stick to it half
no.
the time, but we do create one.
No, yeah, not at all.
So Jay was like, "This is gonna be the trailer. I wanted this to be the trailer of the week." And so I went, huh? So the trailer of the week is Scoob. They're dropping a new animated Scooby-Doo movie. Now, what's funny is that apparently Zac Efron, Mark Wahlberg, our voices in the movie. But it's called Scoob, and much like a lot of movies being dropped nowadays, it's an origin story. It's an origin movie. Starts with how Shaggy and Scooby meet, and then the team comes together.
Yeah, how
and
the
mystery team comes together.
Mm-hmm.
So
how they all got together. It's an origin story of the Scooby-Doo mystery team. Well, I don't know what they're called. Like I know the band is called the Mystery Machine.
It's Mystery Machine, but yeah, man,
how they all met
and
as
how
kids.
and how Scooby got his name, and
right.
So, I'll be honest with you.
Come on,
when I
the
looked
trailer
at
was dope.
When I looked at it, I was like, oh my goodness, let me watch this trailer so I could speak on it. Yo, I was just like thinking to myself, if I go like really early, like the first showing on a Sunday, no one would know, right? Like it wouldn't be weird because no one would see me. Like this lone guy.
Yeah, no, yeah. It's got to be early on a Sunday because everybody's
at
the kids at church.
The kids at church. The kids are asleep. So, so Scooby-Dooby-Doo. Scoob is the trailer of the week. So check that out.
Check out the trailer because
who says we don't pick family friendly movies to go watch?
And then like for guys like us, like I grew up watching Scooby-Doo, right? Scooby, and then they had Scrappy. And then they will always have. Remember, they will always have
crossover episodes. Like we have Batman, the
exactly.
Globetrotters.
Yo, son, exactly.
Yo, those were always my favorite.
To see this, it made me like super happy because now I can take the kids to this.
Yeah, that's definitely something that you can take the kids to and see it on the big screen. And, the big TV, papi.
The big TV.
All right.
So it was dope.
That's it. So we had a couple of other articles, but we'll touch on them next week unless something
better,
much more better comes along. So
no, I do want to touch on one of them though.
All right,
I want to touch on the Francis Chan one.
Yes, at least that one. That one is very, very dope.
Yeah, at least the Francis Chan one. So if this is so weird to say, but we are fans of Francis Chan here on the podcast, right? I think you referred his book Crazy Love to me.
Yes.
After hearing him for so long.
Yeah, so I ran across him, and I was told, "Oh, you need to read this book." And so I read it. I told Jay, and it had some videos that kind of went with it.
Right, and it was dope. And so I can say that I've read like Crazy Love. I've read Erasing Hell.
Yeah,
there's another one that I read, and I just now finished reading a couple months ago and listening because it was hard for me to read and really get into it. So I got the audiobook.
Nice.
Letters to the Church.
Okay.
Right, it was basically like to me it was, and even to you if you read it or if you listen to it,
right,
you'll resonate deeply with it because he is sharing his heart on ministry and church and kingdom and stuff like that.
Okay.
And
does he read it? Is it him reading it, or is it somebody?
No, it's someone else. Someone else reading it. It's someone else reading it. But
it'd been dope if he had read it. But anyway.
Yeah, but you can like a lot of the things that he said are things that we spoke about.
Right. Oh, so he does listen to us.
And a lot of things that he said are things that we have done. and especially things that we've done and
Where we failed?
and we've discussed where we failed, right? Like the whole legacy church thing and
Right.
how we wanted the structure of legacy church to be, as far as it being, family, real first century church and elder driven rather than just one single pastor being the everything of the church, right? So like a lot of things, no lie, I cried a lot reading and listening to that.
Okay, yeah,
Right,
no.
so-
And for those of you that might not know, Francis Chan was he was a mega church pastor.
He was,
He was
and he left
out
this
in
church.
out in California.
Magda's boss used to be a part of that church.
Cornerstone. He was a pastor of Cornerstone Church out in California. It's a mega church, and he left.
Yeah, he founded it.
He left it all to pursue. It's funny though, right? Because most people like, oh, I'm leaving my mega church to start another church, or I'm leaving my mega church to go to a mega church, or I'm leaving my mega church to run some organization.
Yeah, but
He did the opposite. He goes, I'm leaving my church to pursue God,
to like really pursue
to
what
really
God wants.
pursue Jesus. You know what? We all should be ashamed.
Yeah.
Right?
And he did it for a while, right? And he went and he took his whole family to do missions.
Yeah, he did
right?
missions.
Like they left the U.S. and they were out there doing missions, like in the streets and whatever.
And then they started they started churches, right? Because they started like home churches.
like home
Not,
churches.
The idea wasn't, oh, we're going to start home churches to then all come together and
do
have a big church.
building church. No, he started
First century
community
churches, yeah.
focused churches.
Yeah, so and she's been all he's obviously speaks at conference. He's spoken at conference for a while. He
He
quit.
stopped when he first started doing all those home churches thing. He stopped, and he only spoke at the conferences that he already
pre-booked.
Yeah, pre-booked.
So so today in the news, we got a little blurb from ran across a little blurb from Relevant that he's moving to Asia.
To be a missionary with his family.
He's moving to Asia.
He just went through puberty.
Yeah, sorry guys.
Francis Chan and his family are moving to Asia in
February, and he's at
to do missions.
Yeah, he's moving to Asia to be a missionary. And so we think
The thing is that a pastor at his height,
right.
You don't. It's like, yeah, hey, I mean, let's know. We talked about it last week, where there's fame in the kingdom, right? Francis Chan is one of those guys, even though he has shied away from it, right, and has tried to keep away from the spotlight, but he's Francis Chan, right?
It's funny, because the more he wanted to run away from it, the more he seemed to get. So
now he's out.
So in the articles, and I thought this is a great point. It goes, for many pastors, this line of the articles is, for many pastors of Chan's caliber, such a move would be all but unthinkable. But the crazy love author has always had an uncomfortable relationship with attention, famously leaving his position as senior pastor of Cornerstone Church, which he founded in September of last year. Chan spoke with the Relevant podcast about this is amazing, tired of hearing my own voice. Chan used an extended fishing, and I love the metaphor, in his address to the Sousa students, explaining his decision to move. I feel like I've been fishing in the same pond my whole life. And now there's like thousands of other fishermen at the same pond, and our lines are getting tangled, and everyone's fighting over stupid things. And one guy tries some new lure, and we go, oh, he caught a fish. Let's all try his method. And it just feels like, what are we all doing here?
Yeah, you know what?
That's so that preaches in and of itself. That's
Ready for what I'm about to say? Forget about what we were going to teach. What we were going to teach on. We're going to stay stuck on this,
Jay's
right?
gonna get stuck on this
because we are.
Go Jay.
Because I feel like this. I feel like this now. Currently, I feel like this, and I felt like this for a long time, right? And for me, this is why Legacy Church failed, right? Because I was out here trying to do with Legacy Church what everybody's doing, right?
Right.
What was famously put out there as the way that things work, right? I was seeking help from ARC organization of church planters, right? And there's a method. Everybody has a method. Everybody has the trend. Hey, do these things. To this day, I still like unsubscribe from all these. Hey, Jay, hey, your church is losing members, but follow these steps and we can double your membership by January.
Right.
Unsubscribe. Right. Please get me the hell off of all of these things because there is no method. There's no freaking method. I was watching. I was reading. It's funny.
Okay.
I was reading. No, not like that. I mean, there's a method.
I mean,
there's a biblical method, and there's a way that works. That works for them, but it doesn't work for everybody.
Right, but okay. So here's where me and Jay are gonna disagree. So it's all right. So the problem isn't the method. The problem
is me.
The problem is you. No, the problem is when the problem is that you begin to rely on methods more than direction or more because. I mean, there's nothing wrong with starting. I mean, if something works, then something works. So if what works is doing small groups to then grow the small group to something else, and then to grow it to something else, there's nothing wrong with that. That's not the problem. I don't think that's.
I think the problem is
the problem is
buy these 5 easy steps to plant your own church and receive and receive what is it? Like amazing growth within the first month, and the first 3 months you'll have 50,000 people in your church. The problem, and then you could pay us. Then you could pay us the $300,000.
Right now, the problem isn't that there's different methods.
So many cables.
Jay's gonna strangle himself. The problem is that we try to fit every square peg, every round peg into a square hole, or every square peg into a round hole, whatever it is, right? Or a triangle. That we look at something, and to me, that's the thing about what he says, right? It's that we're all fishing. We might all be fishing in the same pond, but we gotta fish how we know to fish,
right?
And I think
that screwed me up.
I think the problem
personally,
we all of us. This happens to all of us. But here's the thing, though, right? This doesn't happen in church. It happens in everything. It happens in social media. Oh, this one guy did this thing, and look at all his growth. So I'm gonna try the same thing. Or this guy started this. I'm gonna do that too because it's gonna help me. That's how we're kind of wired that way, where we when we see success. So the problem is we're wired to go, oh, I see how they do that and it's become successful, but then we try to mimic it instead of going, what can I do that they're doing, but that fits.
How can I adapt it?
But that fits to where
how
I'm
can I
at.
adapt it to how I do things and what I do, and that's where I failed. Excuse me, that's where I failed because like all my life. Like, I have never done anything like how people say I normally should have done them, or I should have done them normally, right? Like, never. I remember the first youth outreach event I did at Hill Walk, and it, of course, involved hip-hop. It involved music. It was with Frankie Cutlass in the God Squad.
I wasn't there.
No, I'm saying,
I remember
Frankie Cutlass in the God Squad. Right, and it was with Corey Red and Precise, right, and things like that. And it's like, and I remember like everybody at the church freaked out, right, because here came these scary-looking guys, and they had their hair locked up, they had piercings, they had all these tattoos and whatever. And as everyone that listens to us knows, I went to a real legalist church. So I remember being told, tell those people to take their earrings off. Right?
Right.
And getting in trouble because I said, no, you tell them. I don't have a problem with them.
Those dudes are scary.
No, I was like, I don't have a problem with them. I don't have a problem with their earrings. If you have a problem with them,
right, then you tell them.
You tell them. Yeah. Right? Because they came here without telling me I needed to pay them thousands of dollars first. They came to share the gospel, to share their stories, right? The earrings are not going to keep them from that. And then when I saw that the church started filling up with all these gangbangers, right? All these people that I knew firsthand were
Right.
like super violent drug dealers or whatever, or just fans of Frankie Cutlass to see if he actually was a Christian, right?
Correct.
Including like the pastor's kid, right? Who came and after the music and hearing all their stories, when they did a calling, he was the first one to jump up and give his life to Christ, right? And the pastor, Padro came. He came and he like tried to hide standing on the corner because he wanted to spy what was going on, right? Broke down in tears when he saw his son run up to the pulpit, right? To like give his life to Christ, right? And then he looked at me, he was like,
Right.
I didn't agree with what you were doing at first because this all looks crazy, but this isn't my generation. Right? Like he had to see it.
That lasted one day.
Right?
So
he had to see it in order for him to approve, right?
Yeah.
But that's the thing. Like I've never done things the way other people do things. And I went to this whole legacy thing trying to follow other people's methods and do things the way other people did them. And it didn't work for me.
Right. I think we gotta be careful though, right? Because there's people that always look for the method, but then there's people that always like, I'm gonna do it my way. I don't need to listen to you. I don't need to look at your stuff, and then it's still wildly unsuccessful because or doesn't take off the ground or whatever because you're too out there, right? You're thinking that what I'm doing is so fresh and innovative that people are like, we don't understand what you're doing.
Yeah, but it's funny though, right? Because there are other things that we have done and that we've left that are still continuing.
Yeah. So
right?
The thing is like I said with the metaphor. Yeah, we're all fishing, and I get what he's saying. I think there are times where it's not even about that we're all fishing. We're all fishing in the same pond.
Right.
And I think that we do need to maybe think about where can I go to fish now.
And because that's the thing, right? Because it's
now,
like, yo,
now,
you're
granted,
going to plant the church in Georgia. Right?
Well, but now,
hold on. You're going to plant the church in Georgia, right? And nobody thinks about planting a church in like the rural parts of Georgia, right? They want to be up in the city, close to where a lot of people are, right? Let's say like downtown Marietta. Marietta Square alone has like
four churches.
No, they have like 10 churches that surround the square.
Well, I was thinking in the square there's 4 churches.
Yeah. In the square.
In the
square there are now 6 churches
that are right off the square.
Right. 6 churches, right? But surrounding, they're probably like 12 or 14 churches, right? And a lot of them are next door to each other or across the street from each other.
Well, now to be fair,
and
some of those churches have been there for like 100 years.
No, I know. No, I'm not taking anything away from those churches.
You gotta balance that out.
Because that goes exactly into what I'm saying. So you have this church that's been here like for 100 years, right? And they're doing work and whatever. So you're gonna say, you know what though? You know what? But I got a new word. And so I'm going to go across the street from this 100-year-old church and I'm going to come in with my new word. And you go and you start a church in the same area, reaching the same people, hitting the same thing.
Yeah, it's not true. No, because
of course it's true.
Not that you have a new word. I think you're.
No, I said that with the quotations. They didn't see, but that's the quotations.
But you're being a little angry. I'm
not angry at all. You know people that always come out with the whole "I got a new word from God."
Oh, that's a different thing than a church thing.
That's what I'm saying.
That's different.
That's why I did the air quotes on the new word thing.
Different. So, but see though, that's the thing though. Like those churches aren't reaching. Those churches aren't reaching whoever these new churches are reaching, right? Now, granted, I mean, you got to be fair to the fact that you got like the Presbyterian Church, the Methodist Church, the Baptist Church, the First African Church. Like they've all been there for 100 years, right? Because when the Presbyterians came in, they started a Presbyterian Church because that's what they do. Now the thing is, the non-denominationals come in and they start a non-denominational church because that's what they do, right? But different methods reach different people. The idea, the way I think of it is. To follow the fish metaphor, you don't use the same lure to catch all the fish. You need different lure to catch different fish. So you do have kind of that aspect of it. Now, I get what you're saying. Yeah, people aren't moving into the country to start. You don't necessarily hear of those churches that are starting out in the country. All right, and they're there. But they just don't get the play because they're not in areas that are, just shooting up in population. And that's the other thing you gotta factor in, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at, wasn't it something like 80% of people in the Atlanta area are not churched or something, or 60% or some huge number like that. So I was gonna say is that, you might have 100 people fishing in the same pond, but probably 50 of those don't have anything on their hooks. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, they're just there.
Yeah.
But they have nothing on the hook. I mean, we just talked about a church up in Nashville. The church is dying. And so they partnered up with a new church, right? They brought in fresh worm food, fresh worms, to catch the fish that they're gonna catch. So now, what I do think though is with what Chan is kind of saying, and what fits more are those that are chasing the trends, right? Those that are chasing the trends. This is the trend in churches, so we're gonna do this, or this is the trend in churches, so we're gonna do that.
Back in the day, we're all gonna talk about the prayer of Jabez, and so prayer of Jabez beads.
Right, everybody's gonna buy the books, and we're gonna do sermons on them, and so it becomes this huge. Now, was it and it's not that there was anything wrong with the prayer of Jabez when it first came out, but like anything, when it becomes ultra popular, it's trendy, some of the things, it kind of loses some of its flavor. We'll never lose our flavor. We hope to become trendy and popular.
We're never going to lose. Adobo never loses its flavor, son.
We just buy new adobo and mix it with the old adobo. You know what I'm saying?
Adobo never loses its flavor. Get out of here.
We're, so I think that's the difference though, Jay, to me, is that, now, if you've got 5 churches, now here's where I will agree with you. If you got 5 churches in the square, let's say you got 5 churches, and if we went to each church, and we're like, wait a minute, they're just like that church, or they're literally like copies, then I'm with you. Where I'm like,
I've seen
this is whack.
4 or 5 churches within the same street, all promote like, hey, this Sunday we're at the movies, right? To doing like a sermon series based on movies. I've driven down the street. I've seen these posters at the movies, go on Instagram this Sunday at the movies. Like, what is this? Did I miss the memo? Right. Should I do a Legacy Nights at the movies? Like, what's going on?
Oh,
is Jesus at the movies?
We can use Braveheart.
That would be great, right? It's like things like that like it just frustrates me. But what I understand from him is that, right, and this is what I got from him, from what he said there about the pond and all the fishing and all that, is that this is the United States, right? This is the United States. You in the United States, for the most part, right? You can't drive 30 minutes without bumping into a church, or like driving past a church.
Well, a church building.
Right? Yeah. No, but this is what I'm saying. Right?
It might not be a church.
But this is what I'm saying. Like, you can't turn on the TV and change channels without like seeing a service or church service being televised. Right? You can't go on the internet without seeing it. Because there are some countries where they block those things.
Right.
Right? Or like in China, where there are government sanctioned churches, which are edited, right? So this is the US, right? Finding churches or finding someone to talk to you about God is a lot more prevalent, and it's a lot easier to come by here than like in other countries outside of here.
Mm-hmm. I don't, you know what?
Yes.
I don't agree.
How can you not agree? How can you not agree when there are countries in the world where you get killed for being a Christian or talking about Christianity?
I don't agree. I don't agree that you run into people all the time that
I didn't say all the time.
or you run into that tell you about Jesus.
I didn't
or
say all the
whatever.
time. I said that you can.
Because you keep bumping. I mean,
You can.
You can do that anywhere. You got stealthy undercover Christians all over the place.
No, it's not as
Nobody-
easy.
I don't-
It's you use the word stealthy. You don't need to be stealthy in the U.S. You don't need to be stealthy here.
But people are.
No, you don't need to be stealthy
But
here.
people are.
No.
No.
There is no.
No. There's a difference between you don't need to be stealthy and what I'm saying is people are
You don't
stealthy.
need to be stealthy here. You don't need to sneak a
but-
Bible into the United
but
States.
people
You don't
are
need to be stealthy to
stealthy.
be here and say, God
But-
bless you.
but-
Pleasure to serve you.
First
Why
of-
do you say serve?
First of
Like,
all,
there's no need for that
First
here.
of all, yeah, there is.
Out in other countries, yes.
Well, according to the memo I got today,
yeah,
at
I knew you
work,
were going to talk about that.
According
No.
to that memo, then you know what you do.
I knew you were going to mention that, but no.
But that is the culture. That is
No.
the culture we're stepping into, Jay.
no.
It's
no,
got.
it's not.
Yes,
'cause
it is, Jay.
That's your
You
job.
said it
That's
yourself.
not my job.
Yet.
And my job is not like that.
Yet.
Everybody knows I do ministry at work. Right? Which is why I was
Yet.
offered those tickets that I try to give to you.
Until somebody complains, because that's always how it is. Until somebody complains, you know that's the way it is.
No. All right. That might be a growing trend here, but in countries where it's illegal where your own family will turn you in and you'll be killed in the streets.
So what does that have
right?
What does that
Here,
have to do with?
It's easier. Here, it doesn't matter what. You get a memo in your job, okay, fine. When you leave your job, it's still easier for you to hear about Jesus here than for you to hear about Jesus in other countries, right? And you're here and you want to do the same thing, or you feel that you got to do the same thing when you can do where it makes the most impact, where it makes the most difference.
Well, but it's
somewhere else. And yeah, not everybody's built to be missions,
Elsewhere.
but we are all called to go out into all the world.
Well, actually, we're first called out to go into our neighborhoods, and we're not even doing that.
No, you're not doing that.
Okay, we're not even doing that as a church.
You're not doing that. I'm doing that.
Oh, so you got a house church in your neighborhood with
I don't
all your
have-
neighbors?
I don't have a house church, but
you've gone to all your neighbors in your neighborhood?
I do
You've knocked
contact
on-
my neighbors.
You've knocked on
and
every
I invite
door
them to the house, and you
said,
know that.
Hey, let's have
you
Jesus.
know that.
Let's
You know that.
go to a Bible
You've been
study.
to my house and
Come
you
on,
have
man.
met my neighbors
Come on,
in my
man.
house.
Come on, man.
You know that.
I know that's not
know
every
that.
a couple of neighbors. They all moved away
Because they all moved away. There are a lot of neighbors now that just don't like us.
Well, that's on you.
That is on me.
That's on you. But no, like I think you're being a little harsher on
on the Western church.
You're being a little harsher on people because you're trying to say, well, because you don't see something, then it's not happening.
No, that's
And
not it
kinda-
at all.
That's kind of how you act.
I think you're taking it that way because you're just being defensive. I'm saying that
I'm
it's
not being
easier.
I'm not defensive about anything.
It's easier to find and learn and know about Jesus in the United States of America than it is outside of this country.
What does that have to do with his
easier.
comment, though?
So his comment is that he's here and he's a mega church pastor and he's doing all this ministry here when there are a lot of people that do it and a lot of people that can. And he's talking about how he went to Myanmar and he had to go around with a translator and speak through the interpreter to people who had never heard about Jesus. And that's where the gospel can make the most impact. Not here. I'm not saying that it won't make an impact because it will make an impact, but it won't make the most impact here where people can hear about Jesus and choose to reject them and differently than you go to some other places where they have never ever heard about him. Well, they've never heard about it.
Well,
there are people here that purposely reject Jesus. I know it. I grew up with that. Oh, Christians.
Right,
I was a Christian. I'm an atheist now. Whatever.
Right.
And then you have people who are dying out there that had never heard of Jesus. There's
a lot more people here that've never heard. There's a lot of people here that've never heard about Jesus. There's a lot of people in this country that never heard. It's in the surveys. We've seen the the surveys on it.
There are no church people here because there are children of people that have been de-churched.
No, remember, there's a lot of people. Remember, Atlanta's not Atlanta's the new South. We got more people from out of the state than we do that were actually born in Atlanta.
Bro,
and a lot of those people
I'm here from New York, the most liberal, non-church wanting, non-Jesus wanting.
I mean, you gotta see
city in this country.
But see, you're viewing
aside from California.
You're viewing right. They're like neck and neck. You're viewing it.
They still got us beat.
God's burning California down, but they just can't take the hint.
They can't take the heat.
They got no kitchen because it burned down. We're sorry. Shout out to all those in California that lost their homes. That is really sad, though.
It's really sad.
I mean, you got this country. There's a lot of people. There's a lot of people in the Midwest that don't know about God. They never went to church. The churches are crumbling. There's old church buildings of churches that were there 40 years ago that are no longer there. So there's people all over this country that still haven't heard about Jesus. There's people that grew up in churches in this country that never heard about Jesus.
No,
yes.
You can't grow up in church and not hear about Jesus.
Yes.
What church you go to? You don't hear about Jesus.
Yeah, the Universalist Church. First of all, you want to get snippy.
That's not the church.
Listen, when I work Christian retail and I have the lady who grew up Catholic and comes into my store talking about, I want everything you got on Jesus because I want to know about Jesus because I never heard about Jesus. First time I ever heard about Jesus was when I was in a woman's Bible study.
What Catholic church did she go to? That sounds crazy to me.
No, she never. Listen,
the Catholic
Church doesn't preach
as a man
Jesus, man.
married to an ex-Catholic.
We know the Catholic Church does not preach Jesus.
They preach Jesus. They don't preach intimacy with Jesus, right? Because in order to have intimacy with Jesus, that's
so. What did I just say?
That's through the priest. That's through
what
the
did
priest.
I just say?
But she's never heard about Jesus.
She said she's never heard the stuff that she's heard of. She says, "I want to know about Jesus."
You said she's never heard about Jesus.
She's not okay. So you want to be pedantic? Let's be pedantic.
Of course, we're being pedantic.
Yeah, she heard.
If you can be pedantic,
yeah,
I can be pedantic.
Yeah, she heard.
You can be pedantic too.
Like that word? Huh? You had to repeat it. She heard about Jesus. Oh, this is Jesus. But she didn't know about Jesus.
So she was like us Caribbeans, according to John MacArthur.
Oh, y'all let that go. That happened like 3 years ago. No one cares about it but you.
Actually, mom talked to me about it last night. She also just heard of it.
Like I said, no, probably because of you. You were like,
no. That was something she brought up. Anyway, go ahead.
So the Caribbeans don't know about Jesus. Look, you can't know about Jesus and start reggaeton and all that nasty dancing. That ain't nothing about Jesus.
No, yes, you can. Remember, a lot of the big reggaeton artists were ex-Christians.
So they didn't know about Jesus.
Right?
That doesn't mean they were ex-Christian because you grew up in the church.
Right? Don Omar was a youth pastor. He knew about Jesus. Wisin and Yandel were part of his youth group. They knew about Jesus.
Did they know about Jesus? They didn't, because look what they did. That's what I'm saying. Just because you've heard about Jesus doesn't mean you know Jesus. And just
sometimes you do those things because you know about Jesus.
And just because you grew up in the Catholic Church and they talked about Jesus was the guy on the cross, whatever. That doesn't mean you know who he is.
Every Catholic church has Jesus on the cross.
You
can't go to Catholic church and
not
know about Jesus.
But that doesn't mean you know who he is. And that's the thing. In this country, it's not about people have heard about Jesus. That's a big difference between knowing Jesus. And there are those that go to other countries and that's fantastic. But you've got to there is a special calling to go do that.
Yeah.
But the thing is that I think that we tend to want to diminish those that were called to the churches that they have here because, well, they're doing it and I don't like the way they do it, or they're doing it like whatever. And so we might have bad experiences with certain people. So, they're not doing it, or why they're not doing this, or why they're not doing that, or they need to be doing it this way. When, there are those, and we've run across those people that were like, why does this dude even have a church? Like, why is he even doing this? But we also know there's a lot of people that are very genuine.
And we
they're
know
all about
and we
the
know
gospel,
them, and
not
we work
about the
with
method.
them, and we have some of them coming to Legacy
So
Night.
you can't throw the baby, the bathwater, and the tub all out the window, Jay.
But it's still right. If we stop Legacy Nights December, no more Legacy Nights. Those kids that come to Legacy Nights will be disappointed, right? They'll be disappointed, but they'll move on because there are other places and other things that are like Legacy Nights, or do music in Jesus or worship in Jesus.
So then why
that
do
they can
legacy nights at all then? Just stop it. Because it's just like everything else, which is your
not that it's like
ranting
everything
against.
else. It's not that it's like everything else because it's not like everything else. But what I'm saying is
We're
that
in an
there
ice
are
cream shop.
options. There are options. There are more options here in this country than in other countries.
There are options here.
There are more options.
But that doesn't mean the options are being, people are going to those options, and there's all kinds of reasons for that.
Yeah, well, we can't say either or,
Right.
But there are options. You get more options here. You get more options to deny and reject and ridicule and send memos to. Send memos about
offending people because you ask them where they go to church. So silly.
I hope nobody from your job listens to the podcast.
No one does. And if they do, they can't ask me. Can't assume. I go to my own temple, synagogue, mosque,
church.
I call it the turtle. So,
goodness.
but here's the thing, though, right? At the end of the day, I think that we're all guilty of this. All of us. Me and Jay, we're guilty of it right now. We have our thoughts, right? And we think, this is how things should be done, or this is how things should not be done. But reality is, what do we know about anything, right? Because I thought Ecclesiastes 1:9, right? What has been will be again. What has been done will be done again.
Right.
There is nothing new under the sun. And I think that we need to remember that. I think if we remember that, I think that tempers that can temper a lot of our frustrations, right? Because if somebody says, "Oh, this is the new method that we're doing to reach people," we can be like, "Cool. If it works and people come to Christ and it sends people out to be missionaries and to be pastors and to be other stuff, great.
Then that's your thing.
That's great. And if you want to share how you did so that other people can maybe do it or try to do it or learn from it or whatever, that's great. But ultimately, whatever is being done, if it's being done for numbers, then it's wrong.
Right.
But if it's being done because people are desperate to try to reach their neighborhood or their city or their whatever for God and for Jesus,
as long as Jesus is being preached, right? As long as Jesus is being preached, as long as souls are coming to Christ, as long as people are coming hungry for God and
not a Popeye chicken sandwich,
and their hunger is being met. Right?
Right.
As long as lives are being changed by the Holy Spirit and Jesus is being preached, man, whatever it is and however you do to get there, I'm with you. Right? I'm with you. We good. But, just stop emailing me.
Yeah, I think that's more of a Jay needs a new email address problem.
Stop emailing me.
Just start forwarding all that stuff to Sapofino and
I'm gonna send it. I'm gonna send it to you. I'm gonna send you the one I got today.
I probably got it, and it's
your,
in my
your numbers. I know that your numbers in your church are way low.
Right.
I can help you get them to like triple your numbers by.
Yeah, but that's also
leave me alone.
But that's also a lot of churches that even smaller churches, they don't look for quality, right? They're always looking for quantity. Mm-hmm. And that's a whole nother issue. That's a whole nother problem. So listen, we're done. We're running out of time. Oh, no. Hey, thanks for listening to the rant. I don't know. If you disagree, if you agree, you'll probably agree with Jay and disagree with me. That's fine. You're wrong. We will talk to you.
Boom.
We will talk to you. We will talk to you next week. Be on the lookout for all the exciting stuff. And yeah, just remember Ecclesiastes 1:9. When you get frustrated with what other people are doing or trying to do, and if you think, man, that's wrong, remember, there's nothing new under the sun. What has been will be again. Scripture, one of the richest men in the history of the world taught us that. So, till next week, as always, I am Joaquin.
And I'm still Jay.
See y'all next week. Peace.
Thanks for listening. Remember to go to theoverflowpodcast.com to subscribe to the podcast on all streaming platforms and catch up on all the links of the week. And don't forget to follow our playlist on Spotify.